Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, how are you? Is it morning everywhere? No, it may not be. Hi there, my name is Dave Wilber. My friends call me the Turfgrass Zealot. And I'm here, we're live. And, I want to talk to you about a couple of things that there's something going on with YouTube today, and their servers don't seem so brilliant. So I think we're up and we're stable, but it took a minute to get all that sorted. So I don't love that. I don't love that at all. And so that's thing number one. Thing number two is somehow in updating my system, my my microphone has gotten kind of wacky. So I don't know. I have a little bit of rasp in my voice here that doesn't need to be there. It is not from heavy drinking. It's not that. It's just there's something in my system that is grabbing my audio path, and I don't know what it is. So we'll just deal with it later. And we'll do it live right now. So if my voice sounds a little bit robotic and a little less creamy and yummy, that's me. Hey, welcome wherever you are in the world. And by the way, we are worldwide. So, there's that. Wherever you are, thank you so much for being here. My name is Dave Wilber. My friends call me the Turfgrass Zealot. Often they call me the Bear. The Bear and I, camera's backwards. The bear and I are happy that you're here, and I'm just happy to be here. And I love doing this live stream on Saturday mornings, and it's starting to be a thing, and I think people are kind of, they're kind of into it, right? I'm into it. I mean, I can just sit here and talk to myself and be into it. So, if you guys want to join me, that's a good thing. All right, so I'm trying not to be distracted by the tech stuff, but it seems like we have a solid connection. It looks like everything is going good here. Very, very strange weather where I live. Last night, huge electrical storm. And sadly, my friend Mark Razum, who is the head groundskeeper for the Colorado Rockies, baseball team extraordinaire. Mark is amazing. Somehow in the electrical storm that was happening around Coors Field last night, his irrigation system came on during the middle of the game. Yeah. It wasn't pretty. And I don't know, I was trying to find better. There's some video of it, but it wasn't great. And so just, you can just imagine, because we've all had this nightmare of the sprinklers coming on. This reminds me of a time that we were doing a senior tour event. I was involved with the senior tour event, and there were some problems with the irrigation system. We were trying to sort it out, and I don't exactly know what happened. We still don't know what happened. It certainly wasn't planned, but I ended up turning on the sprinklers on Tom Watson. The sprinklers came on Tom Watson. I was sitting at the computer trying to figure out what was going on with the Rainbird system. With the super and the irrigation tech, and suddenly the radio lit up, and it was, the sprinklers are on hole number 1, and Tom Watson's, and you can just imagine, right? So I ended up apologizing to Mr. Watson on the 3rd hole. A couple of us went out there to say we were sorry. He was, of course, the gracious man that he is. He was just cool about it. Realized that there were, things happen. So, anyway, poor Mark Razum. Damn it, dude. That's just bad. It's just bad stuff. All right, what else is going on in the world? Well, I'm going to do something. I don't know if I can do this the way I want to do it. Let's see. No, That's not it. Yeah, we're not doing this. Let's get this out of the way. No, that's not our world. Hey, you don't want to see this. Can I? Display capture. Oh, look at, well, there's one way to do it. There we go. Hey, that's not bad. Okay. We will, we'll fix the rest of this. So this is my Spotify feed. We can pick this over here. So, blog that I like to read occasionally, the Lying 4 blog. And, I want to look here, make sure I get it. Will Bardwell writes for the Lying 4, and I believe this is his whole deal. No? And I like Will, and I think there's cool stuff going on there. Let's see if we can get this maximized for you. Oh, that's ugly. I have a different display set up here, so I haven't really played with this before. Let's see if we can do it this way. Thank you for being, is it this one? It is. Okay, so we're catching my whole display over there. That's good. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what I want to get to you is this deal with Bryson right here. Okay. The cult of Bryson DeChambeau. Listen, even if you don't care that much about, professional golf, professional sports, all that sort of stuff, I want you to read this. All right. So if you go to Lying 4, LYINGFOUR, and it's the Conversations blog, and it's Will Bardwell's deal here. Okay. And let's see if we can make this a little more palatable on screen. There we go. Guys, you guys that are listening, I'm going to help you out. I'm not going to hurt you here. But yeah, this is this, oh man, this is the deal. It's kind of, well, I don't know how to put it. I'm tired of the guy. I'm tired of this shit from this guy. I'm tired of reading weird press about the guy. I don't understand golf, who's been so intolerant of so many, of people who are different, has somehow embraced this dude, and I mean, I'm not talking about stuff like, Paige, how do we say her name? Brainiac. I mean, listen, the LPGA wasn't kind to her either, so there's that. But I just don't freaking get it as it comes to what's going on with Bryson. And so I want to read a little bit of this to you. I'm not very good at reading out loud, surprisingly. Dyslexia is a thing. But I want to talk about this because I don't freaking get the guy. And I love this, right? This is some of the best golf writing I've ever seen from Will Bardwell. And the thing starts out with a quote. It says, "Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?" Obi-Wan Kenobi. The quote, right? So you gotta love this thing just coming out of the gate, right? Because you got the Obi-Wan Kenobi starting, at the top of that. So let's read a little bit. Right about the time Bryson DeChambeau was leaving TBC Southwind's practice range ahead of his Friday morning round at the World Golf Classic FedEx St. Jude Invitational, local health officials revealed that Memphis's newest COVID outbreak had reached levels not seen since mid-January. Listen, this is not a COVID conversation. Okay. You just make that really clear. I'm not trying to have a COVID conversation here. Okay. So just bear with me. We're not going to go there. That's a whole nother thing. Well, maybe we'll go there. This is not what that's about. The differences between January's wave and the Delta variant's advance are, of course, numerous. For Americans, vaccines are now easily available. For children, Delta appears more dangerous than COVID's original strain. Even for the vaccinated, breakthrough cases appear to be more common. Okay, and there's a link to, some information about that. Again, we're not, this is not focused on the COVID thing. It's part of it. DeChambeau, too, is different than he was in January. A COVID infection in July sidelined him from scheduled appearance at the Olympics in Japan. And in Memphis, DeChambeau's first event since the Open Championship 3 weeks earlier, the PGA Tour's resident mad scientist was noticeably lighter than earlier he was in the summer, and even since his slim down from the stocky frame that he adopted in late 2019 and early 2020. Earlier this week, DeChambeau described his bout with COVID as little more than an inconvenience with a few coughing spurts that cost him what he estimated to be 8 to 10 pounds. He expressed no plans to get the COVID vaccine, claimed wrongly that getting vaccinated would have taken away a dose from people that need it, and insinuated again wrongly that the vaccine's safety remains unproven. And okay, we'll get to the vaccine thing eventually. I'm not going to go there right now. Science comes down to what can be proven, and in the 6 years since DeChambeau's introduction to the golf world as purported science-driven Renaissance man, all he has proven is he's less interested in knowledge than in appearance thereof. I love that. All he's proven is that he's less interested in knowledge than in an appearance thereof. At a master's press conference in 2019, DeChambeau, who studied physics at Southern Methodist University, misused the term terminal velocity, a basic term in his purported field of expertise. The next year, he shared his goal to live past the age of 130 years. A few months later, he blamed a slow start at the 2020 Masters on too much brain training. The frontal lobe, here's the quote, I remember this. The frontal lobe of my brain was working really, really hard, and that's kind of what gave me some weird symptoms like crazy overworking. Okay, the frontal lobe of my brain was working really, really, really hard, and that's the kind of what gave me some weird symptoms like crazy overwork. Wow. He's the first event of 2021. DeChambeau claimed that during hours-long speed sessions, he got extra endorphins, and that's kind of what breaks your neurological central nervous system, I guess, is what breaks your nervous system down, which is a great thing. This is pseudoscience. Oh, there is pseudoscience. Then there's quackery. And then there's DeChambeau. I love this. He's not a scientist. He's not a genius. He's a narcissist who has no idea what he's talking about and isn't fooling anyone anymore. Thank you, Will Bardwell. That is, except for the people who want to be fooled. And if 2021 has revealed anything about humanity, it's that we are more inclined to believe what we want to believe than what stares us in the face. And DeChambeau, who coincidentally wore a Trump golf logo on his staff bag until 2021, is a figure who some people want to follow, so they do. During Friday's round in Memphis, that following became literal. Grouped with Dustin Johnson and Cameron Smith, DeChambeau led a crowd of TPC Southwind's first tee off DeChambeau led a crowd off TPC Southwind's first tee that rivaled any gallery on the course, including that of living legend Phil Mickelson, who teed off less than half an hour earlier. Alongside the first green, a middle-aged fan awaited DeChambeau's arrival in a black t-shirt with words, "Trust the science," emblazoned along a picture of DeChambeau. At the third hole, DeChambeau headed out to find his 342-yard drive. A fan in a lime green Puma cap decorated with Bay Hill umbrellas and lime wedges urged a friend to chat DeChambeau up. As DeChambeau and his partners continued on, their following swelled. At the fourth hole, a crowd stacked shoulder to shoulder cheered when DeChambeau's 22-foot birdie putt fell. At the sixth, hundreds of fans wrapped all the way around the back of the green and down the right side of the fairway to watch DeChambeau wedge 120-yard shot, 12 feet. He two putted for par. So he knocked a wedge 120 yards from 120 to 12 feet, and then he two putted. Well, we've all done that, right? Who is that? A woman asked. The 2020 U.S. Open winner. Asked as the 2020 U.S. Open winner walked up the fifth fairway. The man at her side gave the burly golfer a long glance. Oh, he said confidently, "That's Brian DeChambeau." "Oh, DeChambeau," she responded. There's something comfortable about following this depthless man. He's the living embodiment of clickbait, requiring no context or thought. He's amusing for people willing to be fascinated. He is that too, but only for the moment that one's attention stays with him. A whole later, or a day later, or a month later, he regains it for long enough to please him and the fans who follow him. Like the former president with whom DeChambeau has shared rounds, DeChambeau is obsessed with legitimacy to which he has no right. And enough people are willing to give him the appearance of it that both sides of the dynamic continue. I love this writing, man. Talk about the use of words. It would be tempting to dismiss DeChambeau. Hold on. Let's see if we can't. I still won't. Let's go back. Okay. It's trying to make this bigger for you guys, but it's a futile effort. All right. It would be tempting to dismiss DeChambeau as the unserious person he is, and to dismiss his supporters as monolithic marks, the sorts of fans who listen to Barstool podcasts and walk around the PGA Tour events with aluminum bottles of Michelob Ultra stuffed in the pockets of their cargo shorts. To be sure, those fans are amongst those shouting, "Let's go Bryson," from Bryson DeChambeau's crowded gallery. So too, though, there are less cartoonish fans, men and women, old and young, children and their parents, the chorus of American voices choosing misinformation and fantasy over a more difficult reality, are not just hardline conspiracy theorists. The difficult reality is that they come from all of us. If DeChambeau's antics are a little more than performance, he continues performing for a reason, because he has an audience. I love that. There would be room in this crowd for humility if DeChambeau had any to offer. To explain what he once shared, their skepticism, but that the virus had shown him that skepticism had been misplaced. I mean, he did get sick. And urge his crowd of followers to avail themselves of protections that he had not. Humility, admitting mistakes and learning from them, the essence of science, after all. But humility, by its very nature, requires that unwanted truths be admitted. It cannot coexist with hubris. And between hubris and humility, DeChambeau has made his choice. Let's just read this again. But humility, by its very nature, requires that unwanted truths be admitted. It cannot coexist with hubris. And between hubris and humility, DeChambeau has made his choice. Oh man, this is so good. Please check out the Lying For website and go to the blog section. Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? I love this so much. Obi-Wan Kenobi quote. I just paint that on the side of my vehicle. Oh, jeez. Listen. I'm a person who's and I think, I don't know, what did I title the podcast or the broadcast today? Something catchy. But I can tell you that it's like I was one of those people, and am one of those people, who was always looking for a better answer, a different answer. In my time growing grass, I just wasn't going to do it like everybody else did it. I wanted to observe. I wanted to trial. I wanted to make mistakes. I wanted to get after it, you know, in a bunch of different ways. I wanted my staff to be, you know, super well involved and trained. And sometimes that was great and sometimes it wasn't, you know. It just depends on which staff member, you know, we're talking about. I had people that worked for me that went on to, you know, do good things in the business. And I had a couple of people that worked for me that went on to be abject morons, you know, I guess is the best way to put it. But whichever, that's their path, that's their thing. You know, I wanted to try to make sure that, and pardon me while I just grab, pardon me while I just make sure, yeah, YouTube seemed to glitch there for a second, but we're back. If I lost you, thank you, you're back. I'm wearing a Ballyneal hat today. Ballyneal Golf Club in Northeast Colorado. Tom Doak design. Bruce Hepner ran the job. Fantastic place, man. Out in the Chop Hills, sand like you wouldn't believe. Yucca, little cactuses, just the greatest thing, like, right? You know? And everybody said to me, you can't do this and you can't do that. And all I heard was can'ts, right? Can't irrigate this way. We can't, you know, can't. And I got tired of it. I really got tired of it. I got so tired of it that I actually, it changed my role. I was going to be a partner in that project. I was going to be, you know, I don't know. Was I going to be an owner? I don't know. I was going to have some sort of financial stake in the whole thing, right? Hey man, let's build Dream Golf. This is no knock on Rupert or Jim O'Neill, the original owners and founders of Ballyneal. I love those guys, and I'm going to leave that one alone. There's different ownership there now, and they're doing great. Dave Hensley, who was the original golf course superintendent, is now the general manager, and Jared Kalina is the golf course superintendent. And I love those guys, and I love that place, and I think it's amazing, right? But let me tell you something. In the middle of trying to get that thing going, you know, before we had moved more than a couple of bucketfuls of sand, all I heard was, no, we can't do this. No, we can't do that. No, Dave, you can't plant coastal grasses in the middle of the country. No. And I'm saying this because I just saw some pictures from the Lido project that is going on that Brian Snyder and Tom Doak are doing near Sand Valley, right, in Wisconsin. And they were grassing some stuff, and they were grassing it with the technique that we kind of came up with along with Ken Nice at Pacific Dunes. And then we transferred that whole thing to Ballyneal. And, you know, again, everybody was telling me you can't hydro seed a whole project, right? I mean, the only way we could keep those sands in place was to glue them down. You can't do all these things, right? Can't. And it was like, no, we're going to do this stuff, right? And sometimes there were some mistakes. We did some, a couple of things got done wrong. So what? Big deal. You fix it, right? And so I wonder sometimes in golf. I wonder sometimes in agronomy. Let's put it this way, in turfgrass agronomy. And I want to just say golf because I think I see it in the sports surf world too, right? Is there are people who they're really, really happy to do the same old thing, the same old way, and the same old techniques and all that, and get the same results. Sometimes those results are perfect and everything's good, and why change? Right? Why fix what's not broken? I love that. However, often things are broken. Often things are broken. Often things are not what they should be. And yet I watch people do the same thing, man. Then there's the other side of it. there's the pseudoscience side of it. And while I do not, I do not side with, I do not side at all with what's going on my screen here. I don't side with the people who say, well, here, I've got the magic dust, I've got the magic juice, I've got the magic this, that, the other thing, unless they've really done their work, right? Unless they really understand, unless they're really, but no, I don't go for magic dust. And a lot of people might think that's funny because, I got a bit of a reputation as a magic dust user, but for me, it was always about experimentation. The other side of that is the gang that, is they want to make fun of people when they do something that they don't understand. Recently, I watched a golf course superintendent tweet about a technique that he used. It's a pretty well-known technique in the sustainable ag world, to create some changes in your organic matter, in the upper layers of your soil, right? The use of a food grade hydrogen peroxide drench. Golf course superintendent posted about this, and here come them. I don't even want to say naysayers, but just the people that can't think, right? And they're like, well, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And, I got it right away because it's something that we've done for a long time, but I just don't talk about it because the next phase of people that come are the people that say, well, there's no research for that. There's no this, there's no that. Why would you, why would you be so experimental? Why would, blah, blah, blah. And I hate all that, right? The turf truth thing, which I don't look at, follow. Somebody wrote me about turf truth the other day. There was, I guess those guys are starting up some new stuff, and it's like, first of all, I know who it is, and I just think it's silly that they would play in that world, but whatever. They're entitled to their opinion, just like Dave Wilber is. So, as long as they don't tell everybody that Dave Wilber is going to kill their golf courses, I'm down with it. They can do whatever. But so, I had to draw the line for them once, and I did. I drew it real solid, and I'm not going to back away from that line. Like, you can't destroy my business. You can't slander me. You can laugh at me. You can make parodies of me. You can, I'm an easy target with that. But you can't tell people in a business sense, lies about destruction or whatever. You just can't do that. When we did Ballyneal, there was a lot of conversation about whether or not I was right or I was wrong. And some of that conversation happened in places like Golf Club Atlas. Some of it happened on the site, all those sorts of things. And I would say, you know what? I may not be right, and I may not have this perfect, but I just know enough, and I'm experienced enough, and I'm dedicated enough, and I have my head in this enough to know that we're headed that way. Now, that is so different than what we just got done talking about with the with the Bryson DeChambeau stuff, where Bryson just says, crazy shit and wants people to, either nod yes or nod no. Believe me, he likes the no's as much as he likes the yeses, folks. That's what social media and so many things have taught so many people. It's like attention is clicks, and clicks are attention. And say something crazy, you're gonna get clicked, you're gonna get commented, you're gonna get press. Yeah, that's the world that we live in. Now, negative, the press is always looking for the plane crash, the train wreck, the crazy human. That's the way it works, right? I mean, if I wanted to become the sweaty tooth madman, or more of the sweaty tooth madman than I already am, I'm sure I could get a lot more clicks. I'm sure I could piss off more people and do more stuff, and so could you. So could you, Mr. Golf Course Superintendent, Mr. Sports Turf Manager, Ms. Sports Turf Manager, Ms. Golf Course Superintendent. Sorry, excuse me. I think you could get a lot more attention if you became controversial. You know, I mean, why not walk into the men's grill or the whatever it is at your club, the bar. Let's just say the bar. I always say the men's grill, and I mean the bar. Let's say you walk into the bar and just say something crazy. You know, I mean, are you going to get attention? Of course you are. Is that attention going to be good? Maybe not. But what social media does, is it gives people who have it. Okay, let me go back. So you walk into the bar and you say some crazy shit about the golf course. I don't know. Hey, we're planting this, super secret grass that only I know about, and you guys, wait. I don't know. Whatever it may be, right? Hey, the greens are rolling 15 today. What do you guys think? That has implications for your job, for the ownership, for the community that is your customers, all those things, right? But if you're a couple of layers removed, yeah, and you get on Twitter or you have a media presence or whatever it is, and you say something crazy, what you're doing is you're asking people to make a decision. Yes, no. Wait a minute. Yes, no, maybe, no, right? Yes or no. That's what drives this thing. I could do that. I know how to do that. And every once in a while, I get a little, gnarly, and I'll post something on Twitter. And like yesterday, I posted that I was going to do a series of NFTs, right? And let's see if I can get to this. If I can get to it real quick, I'll show you. I know this is a real random cast today. I just feel random. So where's my Twitter account? No, I don't want to go to Twitter Taiwan or whatever the heck happened there. Okay. We're getting to it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's I'll cover this and then we'll go back. Where is it? Here we go. I'm gonna show you guys this. Wait, come back. Fantastic Twitter. Okay. Here we go. I can't believe I have to talk about this. I can't believe I even have to explain it. Now, I said that I was gonna, here's the tweet, right? Here's the tweet. Will the tweet come up? Here's the tweet. The tweet says, my NFTs for turf heads is dropping soon. It should have said are dropping soon. Pay in Dogecoin. This will be so cool. Dutch auction, which means, I don't know. If you've never done a Dutch auction, look it up. Price is starting at 12,000 Doge. A preview. Enjoy. And I was just screwing around, right? Because I was laughing about Gary Vaynerchuk's NFTs, and he has like, Money Monkey and, Bravery Birdie or whatever. So, okay. So here's my line of NFTs, right? We've got Mow Man, right? Mow Man. And here's a guy with a mower. Yeah, you get it, right? And we got Hose Head. Here's a guy with or a girl with a hose, and water comes out of it. Hose Head, right? It's a good one. This one ought to sell for big time. If you own the original Hose Head, you could potentially be very, there's one that everybody liked, Green Chair. And somebody said, hey, I would like this if there was, a little more detail. Green Chair, right? Here's, he's unhappy. I didn't know how to draw a hat on him or something, but I should, and then he's saying slow, like your greens are too slow. Green Chair, right? And then Course Cat, because course dogs get too much attention, right? So course cat, So yeah, this is Wilber's line of NFTs, and some people got this, right? And they're like, oh, that's funny. And then I get DMs, and I'm not going to show the DMs, but I get the DMs is like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'm like, this is a joke. This is a joke. Here, we might as well like this guy's comment. This was funny, right? This was supposed to be funny. And so then I had to come back later and say, listen, if you didn't get it, hello, this is funny, right? This is, and somebody did get it. What did he say? He says, be a tie between green share and hose head. Share would be better if the words were in green, right? And I told him, well, we'll make a limited version, of that, of the green share. Okay, so we'll put the words in green. That would be great. You see what I'm getting at here? Nobody had commented or sent me DMs on a Twitter post this week, and I had a moment where I thought I was funny because why not? I'm funny. Okay, and I'm like, okay, let's let's do something funny. And I just had happened to see Vaynerchuk's latest release of his cartoons that he's calling NFTs that he's selling for thousands of dollars, all with Ethereum or whatever the currency of the day is. And it, to me, it's like I love Gary Vee, and I realize that he's in the middle of something cool, and I know I shouldn't have laughed at Bitcoin a long time ago, but I did. I mean, that's just the way it works, right? And so I have to explain to people, hey, I was just goofing around. This is just funny. Like, I'm not selling NFTs. I'm not doing non-fungible tokens. I'm not creating original artwork that I'm trying to, although now, what's funny about that? So I get a DM from somebody that came over last night, and they're like, hey, Dave, I think you should sell those. Like, I think people would actually like to buy those. And I'm like, well, if you like it so much, just download the file, right click on the thing, and I don't know. Like, is this what Wilber is going to be known for? Bizarre turf head cartoons? I mean, no, I'm not. No, that's not the point. The point is that we can all get attention. If you want attention, it's out there. You can get it. You can create. We live in a world now where you can create attention. We live in a world where we, and I'm talking about turf heads here, where we can speak up about our stuff. We can blog. We can we can communicate in a whole bunch of different ways, in a whole bunch of different mediums. I don't know. You can make fake accounts and become your own supporter or your own, you can do all that. And if you think that shit doesn't happen, right? If you think that a lot of these people who are generating, I mean, I know somebody who's in that business. I know actually a couple of people in the tech world in who are San Francisco types. And basically what they do is they create a bunch of accounts and they create a buzz, They essentially do what's called sock puppet work in that world. And so you would hire them, and you would hire them to, hey, I need, first of all, you can hire them to boost your follower count. You can also hire them to, create an algorithm to make a comment stream that fits in with the algorithm with Twitter or whatever platform that you're using, and creates a buzz, right? So instead of the Twitter algorithm itself only sending, your tweet or notifying your tweet to, 100 people or something like that, they're in the business of making sure that gets enough exposure and enough attention that, thousands see it in some way or another. Okay, this is something that you can do. This is something that a publicist can hire these guys to create that kind of tech, right? And everybody thinks that stuff doesn't exist, right? Sock puppet kind of thing. The funny part about that whole thing is, you know what they do? They get a bunch of coders and hackers and stuff. That right now they're working with, like Eastern Europeans, Croatia, Bosnia, all that part of the world, and they have hundreds of people that will create accounts, post things. They just tell them what to post, and I'm not kidding, man. This is not Dave's conspiracy theory. This is an actual business. These guys are making way more than you and I on a daily basis. On a daily basis, they probably make what I make in a year. How about that? It's real. So, if you think that somebody like Bryson, okay, and let's just get past whether he can hit it or not, because we all know he can hit it, right? He has talent. He has natural talent. He can, crush a 342-yard drive. I can't do that. I mean, not unless I'm, hitting it on asphalt. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. The guy can hit it. That's not the thing. He knows, somebody in his world knows, whoever knows, is that every time he creates a buzz, every time he creates a little bit of negative stuff, like, the other one I think in the last couple days is, he's getting a bunch of shit because he doesn't yell "for" when he beats it into somebody. I don't know. He just decided yelling "for" is old, we don't do that, right? And he gets press over this. And then it blooms. How does it bloom? There is likely somebody in his world who is helping that, who is watering that weed and bringing that stuff into the light, and getting Barstool Sports to write about him, and getting Will Bardwell to write about him. Although Will has a real handle on it, but you know what I'm saying, right? There are guys out on tour today at the WGC that nobody is talking to, nobody's listening to, nobody cares, because they're just not PR machines, and they can hit it too. You know what I mean? I mean, even Mickelson, shies away from that stuff. Lefty just, he doesn't do it that way. Right. So in the turfgrass business, do we see that hype beast, right? The hype beast thing. Am I a hype beast? Not really. I just like doing what I do because I think it's fun. I enjoy writing. I enjoy communicating. I enjoy talking. My parents told me that I was talking before I was walking. That they would just sit me in the living room floor and I would just sit there and talk. I love using up all the words. I love using my words. I love doing that. People get tired of me because of it. Oh, Jesus, Wilber, you're wearing me out. Yeah, that's what I do. I wear people out. I just talk. And now I have, various platforms to do it, right? I can tweet every day. I can, say crazy things. I can sit in the middle of the living room floor and talk. What the hell's wrong with that? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being funny and, making a joke about NFTs, even if people don't understand the non-fungible token thing. I mean, I drew a picture of the green chair, it's stickman art, right? I'm no artist. I'm completely inept when it comes to that kind of thing. I like art, but I can't draw. I can make beautiful glass art, but I can't draw. Huh? So how does all this apply to you? How did we get here was the title of this kind of thing. And first of all, please don't be afraid to share your ideas. If you're involved in any kind of platform, whatever platform it may be for communication, please don't be afraid to share your ideas in whatever form. Even if those ideas are different, unusual, and all that sort of stuff, that's okay. That's okay. And then, number two is, if you're sharing your idea, don't be defensive. We talked about the golf course superintendent that shared some information. He didn't get defensive at all. He said, "This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to do. This is good." And he didn't say, "Well, you guys are dumb. I'm smart. You're dumb. Whatever. And you didn't say, you just said, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working with. And we'll see how it goes. Right. And out of that came some good information. I don't think that we would have a lot of the tools that we have today. I mean, thinking about, pogos, TDRs, I'm just thinking through some things. I mean, the original Maxi, let's go back to that, right? The original Blue Box Maxi 2 system was just, you programmed it with there was like a little display, little LED display. And then we got, then we upgraded to Maxi 3 or whatever it was. And it was, it was a, I don't know, Pentium 486. I mean, my wristwatch has more power in it than we had in those first irrigation computers, literally. And it was tricky, man. And we had 5.5 inch, 5.25 inch discs or whatever that you had to put in and pull out. Wow. I mean, it was work. Setting up irrigation sometimes was work, and it's like, let's, And I remember a lot of the cats, who didn't have that technology, were like, why are you wasting your time with that? Well, now look. Now look what Toro and Rainbird, all those people have. So being an early adopter is good. Finding new ways to do things is good. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay. And I'm shocked at our business sometimes when people say, well, I just, I don't want to step out. Well, I don't want anybody to know. And yet I'll talk to a golf course superintendent and they know that they've got to do something. They've got to change something. They got to make they got to make a turn because it's just not quite getting where they want to get. And it's like, it's time to make a turn, but they're just frozen. And part of the frozen is, I'm afraid what my golfers and members and bosses are going to say. Golfers, members, bosses. I don't know, holding up fingers and they're not on the camera. They're afraid what, their peers are going to say, which is just weird to me. I don't know, like that fear kind of thing, and it's like, well, how did we get here? Listen, if you're looking at trying to make a difference, I'm going to wrap this up here in a couple minutes. If you're looking at trying to make a difference, if you're looking at communicating that difference, if you're looking at saying, hey, I'm trying to do something great here, there's really two ways to do it. There's the Bryson way, where you can create attention and say crazy stuff and wait for everybody to come and, join or not join or whatever. But, at the end of the day, everybody's watching. And I know that method and occasionally I use it. But I've less fucks to give than I did when I was younger in the business. At the same time, if I didn't try some cool stuff, if we didn't dig hard at what we were doing at Ballyneal and try to figure it out, right? And if I didn't take some people on and say, I don't care, I'm glad that worked for you at, whatever golf course you worked at, but this is different. This is unique. This is singularly unique, and we're going to do it different. We're going to plant different grasses. We're going to plant grasses in a different way. We're going to irrigate in a different way, right? Golf course superintendent texts me a couple weeks ago, and he's working on a project. I got to be vague with the details here because I don't want to. He's working on a project, and there's people involved in the management group, and they have bizarre ideas about how to and like this guy's experienced and he knows what he's doing. He knows where he is. He knows who he is. And they're telling him all this bullshit, which is kind of party line kind of stuff, and he's like, well, I just know that is not going to work. And then on the other side are some people who are like paranoid, who are like instead of really running, instead of getting the TDR out and running by science or whatever, they're just, they're water panicked, and they're, we got to water, and they're watering it all the different times and all the different ways. And, this is the kind of a messy project, right? And I want to help this friend. And so I just kind of give him some, here's some nudges, right? Here's some things to do. And of course, a couple of those things to do, they're kind of Wilber things, but they're things that we know that really work. But, he takes that to the higher ups and they freak out. What the fuck? What is this? Where'd this come from? And, we got to be careful with that stuff, right? I don't mind when a golf course superintendent says, hey, Dave Wilber said, because it's, in some circles that might carry some weight. I don't know, but sometimes it takes the heat off of them. That's the most important part. The agronomist said, right? Okay. The man from out of town with the nice briefcase said, so like, I really, 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 really want to encourage you. You've gotten to a good place in life, right? You have your golf course, you have your situation, whatever it may be, right? You have your great assistant's job, you're working on your, you got there because you care. You got there because of somebody you are. You didn't get there because, of your social media following. You didn't get there because you were, being controversial, all that sort of stuff. Got there because you are you. And then you keep being you. You keep working at who you is on a regular basis. And you put it together. Okay, so let's say that Mr. Dishambo didn't, he didn't spew his goofiness and all that sort of stuff. I don't know if you guys ever remember, but there was a well televised conversation with his caddy where he was talking about all kind of physics stuff and everything, and it was, for the most part, it was kind of abject bullshit. I think it was just kind of done for the camera. I don't think that's his usual routine, and if it is, so what? That's his thing. But it was just the way it got done was was really weird, and it was crafted, right? You can tell it was crafted. What if Bryson was just, what if he was just being the kid who's just out there hitting it big? What if he had more of a John Rahm kind of attitude? I guess pulling somebody out of there who just wants to play golf and do cool stuff. I mean, wouldn't that be good? Wouldn't he be? Would he be more interesting? He would certainly be more interesting to me. The problem is that he wouldn't get enough clicks. He wouldn't have people writing about him. He wouldn't. He'd just be out there hitting it. If he wins, he gets some press. Hey, you won. Okay. What event was that? Okay, whatever. I don't remember. Oh yeah, you won the U.S. Open. Cool. What year was that? Those things don't. They don't always stick. But it's like, oh, you said this crazy, insane thing, and you told everybody you're never going to yell for, and you've, I mean, come on, which one is going to get more attention. So, ladies and gents in our business, like, how are you gonna handle that in a world of social media, in a world of rapidly spreading information, in a world of all that sort of stuff? How are you gonna handle that for yourself? Are you just quietly gonna hit the shots and make the putts, so to speak, in your agronomy and get through it? Or are you going to kind of fumble around and, be that person who doesn't ever try to hit it big? Well, that's not a bad technique for some people. They really just need to kind of hit it straight, far and sure. I get that. Or are you just going to be bananas and just, say crazy stuff and do crazy stuff and try to get everybody to, be polarized, right? I've done all of those things. I don't know, which one has benefited me or not benefited me financially. Reputation wise, I know how to get, I know how to create the buzz, but sometimes, I've done it the wrong way. The NFT thing is not an example. I've created buzzes thinking I was, going to be unique and individual because I just said so, or because I told somebody that they were stupid or whatever. And I'm not very comfortable with that anymore. And in some cases, I'm sorry I did that. I watched a young superintendent roast a green chairman, or a green committee person at a green committee that I was invited to one time. And I just sat there and I was like, well, this is one way to do it. And of course, what happened? The news spread through the club that the superintendent roasted this guy. And I don't know that was good, and a couple of years later, the regime changed and he was gone. And I said, well, you might have been able to say that differently. And I'm not just talking about like differently as far as like, backing off. Like he could have hit hard with the situation and done it without without destroying, the person on the other end with some other stuff, right? I mean, in this particular case, he used some personal information to, kind of beat up on the guy, and it wasn't good. I can't say anymore. If I if I give real details, it's gonna, it's gonna be pretty obvious who I'm talking about. So anyway, the point being is that, how did you get to where you are, and where do you want to go? How many are you? Are you just the hey, I give no fucks, kind of thing? Or maybe, maybe you're like this super that I just really admire who just, he posted on Twitter, hey, we're doing this. And then people say, hey, blah, 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 blah. And he says, well, I know, but we're trying. Like, we're trying really hard, We're looking for the answers. Like, I just love that. I mean, that's our world, right? And instead of saying, well, I did this controversial thing to create good Twitter posts and then, oh, let's have a battle. I remember a superintendent called me at one time and there was something going on a forum and he said, come on, Wilber, come to the battle, with your words and your brains, we can, really heat this thing up. And I'm thought, it's not my battle. What are you talking about? We're not going to do that. So anyway, that's our hour. That's Saturday morning. I know things were pretty random today. A lot of good things going on in the golf world though. A lot of beautiful things. I certainly, oh man, the phone calls lately have been so good. So many positive phone calls from people and, supers doing amazing things, working with less, doing their best, having great successes. I think that's really cool. And, in my life, I'm working on a few new things and it's hard. Getting older and my body hurts. I've been physical a lot lately in a way that I haven't been for years, and I can barely move my knees, and just tells me that I've got to continue to lose weight and to continue to get ready to have those knee replacements. So it's funny talking to people that are my age in our business right now. There's a lot of hip replacements, knee replacement conversation. So I got it. I like to say hiking around in all these sandy sites, did me in. Jim Urbina and I talked about that one time. It's like, these sandy sites, man, these places where you're trying to climb up the dune, it's joint destruction for us larger men. Let's put it that way. All right. Well, that's good. That's me. That's our time today. Hey, you know what? I love y'all. I do. I've had some challenges lately, good and bad. And what I know is I have some support in all of you, a lot of support, a lot of great people in my world, in my life. And, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you're into this, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And, this is the part where I'm supposed to say, hey, please like and subscribe. And it helps me, it helps the algorithm and helps me get all this going. And I mean, right now this is generating zero income for me. I am just doing this out of complete love. And, so having said that, if you're a small company doing cool things or whatever, I'd like to talk to you about sponsoring an episode or two. It's not a big formal kind of thing, but I would love to do that. So that will help me continue on. Helping me continue on at the same time, we're gonna I'm gonna bust out a Patreon or a coffee, buy me a coffee thing or something like that. And we can do some subscription type stuff, and we'll get to that. I have to, in order to keep making this happen. However, it's still about the love, and I love you guys, and I appreciate you. And I'm gonna close. Well, we'll do it this way. I'm going to close with this. Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? A great quote from Obi-Wan Kenobi. And again, thank you to Will Bardwell for writing an amazing piece, and the Lying For blog site, the Lying For website, Lying, like lying for, not and FOUR. not FORE. Okay. Yeah. So in fact, can we put it up? Let's just see if we can get it up here. Yeah, this is where this came from the lying4.com, lyingfour.com, L4. You remember that, right? So pull that together. And my name is Dave Wilber, and my friends call me the Turfgrass Zealot, and I'm happy to have you here. And as always, our chat was pretty light and non-existent, although for the most part. If you have anything that you'd like to bring up in chat, you know that you're always welcome to do that. We'll just get my attention that way. But in the meantime, please have a fantastic week. I will see you next week. A lot of good stuff going on in our world in August. You know, it's the dog days, right? It's just getting through it. So, you know, I understand that. I appreciate it. And again, I love you guys. I'm Dave Wilber. My friends call me the Turfgrass Zealot. Please have a great week. And I'll talk to you soon.